Welcome to the Dairy Raid. Presented with over 20 years of coaching experience, the Dairy Raid provides commentary and analysis of the schemes, the players, and the coaches who create Wisconsin football's new identity. Now here's your
welcome back to the Dairy Raid, and not quite the second quarter of Wisconsin versus Oregon. From a defensive point of view, obviously I made a mistake with my notes and thought the first quarter was basically done with the end of that last drive, but obviously it wasn't. So we've got about 4 minutes left and another drive in the first quarter, and then we'll get into this. It'll probably be a slightly longer video, but that's okay. All right, so here we go. 1st and 10, Oregon taking over at the 46. All right, Oregon coming out in a two-back set. Little stack looked at the bottom of the screen with a, now that I know better, a tight end and a wide receiver, so 21 personnel. Okay, a little quick screen. And this is being run as just a quick screen. It's got two options. You got a quick screen top of the screen, or a bubble screen top of the screen to one of the backs, and then you got a quick screen at the bottom of the screen, and we're just looking at numbers. Here Oregon is 2/2. Over here Oregon is 2/2, but they have they have more space to get this ball off. Badgers are in a 3-down look, but Aaron Witt is one of those 3 down. So we're still in 2-4 personnel. We're pressing man on the line of scrimmage. We're playing high-low here between Rico and got there Austin Brown. Okay. Rico's going to control the tight end, and Austin Brown's just going to come downhill. Not the cleanest to tackle, but really good reaction to get downhill and get onto the ball. Really like here the reaction and the speed of Tackett Curtis. These are the type of plays that he excels with, where he can just make a quick decision using athletic ability. Same thing with Daryl Peterson. Nice job of defending against the cut block. Got spun up a little bit, but did a good job with his hands. Okay, pretty much the whole front did pretty good, with the exception of Zach Cademan. No, that's Ben Barton. But not bad, not bad. I also see Jaheim Thomas checking into the game. I think this is his only drive. All right, so 2nd and 9. Okay, we didn't catch it here pre-snap. I'm guessing Oregon did some shifts, and the Badgers are a little bit out of position, trying to figure out where everybody is. Okay, so they've made an adjustment here with this nub look, where they're going to work Nizer Forkreen on the high-lowing the number 2 receiver with 2 and 3 receiver with Hunter Wohler. And Hunter's, I think that switch release kind of screws him up. I think Hunter is actually supposed to run with this. But luckily, we get a pretty good little pass rush. Pretty lazy rep by the right guard. And got Gabriel off balance. But just a smooth feet. Able to escape the pocket, reset up, semi-roll all the way. It is, wow. Well, there is pressure, but this is just a different level of QB. Moving across, going to set up, and he's probably looking high-low between these two. He likes the leverage. He had a little more time. He might be looking for that seam, but because we got some pressure, moves across the field, that's a long throw. There's not a whole lot Nizer Forkreen can do about it. He's late getting there. He has to wait for this little switch route to complete itself, and we just kind of get put off balance. And Hunter Wohler is also, again, Hunter Wohler here is it's damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of situation. He can sit on the crosser and then definitely give up the skinny post for the seam, whatever route that's ending up actually being. Or if he jumps the post, the crosser's wide open, he has a chance to turn it upfield. So, great play design by Oregon, and Badgers get caught a little bit out of position. All right, so we get 1st and 10 on the 29-yard line. Okay, coming out with a two-back look again. Okay, this time we get the direct snap. Interesting formation. We get an overload formation with, I'm pretty sure this is a slot receiver. You get one tight end here. You get the other tight end here. So this is actually 12 personnel. And they get caught with a block in the back. So we're not going to say much about that. But let's look at the box and see how the Badgers come downhill on this. I mean, it's an interesting look. I mean, we've got Gabriel and the running back basically one on one cheek, one on the other. So, interesting look. So, with the down block and the pull, little pin and pull action they've got here in this overload look with the tackle and the bonus tackle, Jaheim Thomas does make the right read. When he sees the down and the pull, he needs to race out in front of it. He needs to get there. Jake Chaney is kind of caught in limbo here. One of these extra gaps is probably, I mean, Jaheim Thomas probably needs to hit here, but there's still kind of two gaps. So Jake Chaney needs to either tuck it in here and try to race and fill, or he needs to get over the top and get here and hope that the squeeze from Peterson or the fill from Hunter Wohler will pick up that gap. And I think he kind of thinks about this a little bit too long, and he just gets caught up in the scoop action. And a little bit too much. Jaheim Thomas, same thing. He sees it, hesitates for a second, and I think you can tell he can't really push off that leg as much as he wants to. But penalty on Oregon sets him back. It's 1st and 20 now. Not the empty look. Okay, but we're going to motion out of it, and we get some pre-snap movement. And 1st and 15. We give 5 yards back. All right, Oregon's going to do the same thing. Same look. Now we're going to run it out of empty and try to catch the Badgers without athletes in space. They got the athletes spread out too much. So light box, 5-man box. Chaney's looking to jump. And whatever direction Chaney jumps, we're going to throw the opposite. Okay, so Chaney doesn't come across here and take away this seam, which he probably assumed is the bigger threat. Then we're going to come back to the slant or the little in here on the back side. Okay, very air raid-ish kind of concept. You got your sticks and you got your verticals. You got a seam and then a deep crosser. And damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of thing. Now, how we can defend against this, 3/2, you're in an empty set, you get vulnerable. Because there are options with trips. But when you go empty, that limits your ability in some kinds of zone coverage. A lot of times, like one of my big trips adjustments, I like to use palms against trips, where I'm going to go one-on-one on the outside receiver. We're going to high-low 2 and 3. Teams will run essentially cover 6, which will be quarter, half. Some teams will run a cover 3-ish look on one side, a man-to-man. Lots of different options. But when you get empty and they stay empty, you have to respect it. And we end up getting 3/2 here with a late breaking safety And now it's essentially, even if it is zone coverage, it essentially becomes man-to-man. And Austin Brown is passing off the number 2 receiver. And I think we should have had Hunter Wohler settle a little more inside, and we didn't get it. Now, luckily, we get a holding penalty because the left tackle decided to lay down on top of John Pius, and we live to see another day. Good play design. Again, this is kind of the benefit of, or one of the good things about the spread offense is you just create matchup problems. All right, so here we go. Oregon is in, I believe, 11 personnel. We're going to motion out a pistol. We're just going to run stretch. All right, Badgers do a pretty good job maintaining this. Okay, that's good flow. Let's take a look at Jake Chaney. Okay, so far, not even a full quarter into the game, I've been pretty impressed with Jake Chaney and how much he's improved. And that's a sign of a good kid. So let's see. Okay. Elijah Hill's taking on 2. So he gets a little slant inside, kind of puts him down the middle of the gap, which can be a problem. But he's able to maintain his strength, turn his butt to the guard so he can't finish the double team. And then Jake Chaney just cleans it up. That's a great job. Kurt Neal fighting. Sebastian Cheeks tracking all the way down the line. He's quick. John Pius. Okay, so John Pius is in a slant. He gets kind of caught up, borderline held, but we still get the cut. That's a good rep. That's a good rep by the defense. All right. 2nd and 24. Okay, Oregon is in 11 personnel. I think so. Little play action. Gonna run a crosser. Run the wheel. This play look familiar, Badger fans? We were on the same play. We're going to have our wheel. We're going to have our crosser. We're going to have our curl. We run this exact same play. Okay. Air raid can't work in the Big Ten. Hey. And that's a great move by John Pius. Let's take a look at this from this angle. Okay. Just dip the shoulder. Lean, 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 lean. Get some push. Gets Gabriel out of the pocket. And he's still complete. Because again, now you're putting Jake Chaney in conflict. Does he contain the QB or does he settle in the zone? Whatever he does is wrong. And they're able to pick it up. But I guarantee you, Chaney is being taught that we don't give up the big play. So, still 3rd and 11. Chunk play for the Oregon offense, but we're still in, from the defensive point of view, a manageable 3rd down. All right. All right. So Oregon just runs a little 3-man burst. So again, curls and a flat. Again, Badger fans look familiar. Okay. Badgers come out in a mud look. So we've got 7 men on the line of scrimmage. And are they running a 0 blitz? Yep. They're running a 0 blitz here. So what a 0 blitz is, go to the end zone angle. What a 0 blitz is, they're going to put all these bodies up on the line. And essentially our linebackers who are in this group up here, if they get blocked, they're going to drop back and cover. And let's see what we get. So, Legro gets blocked. He's going to pop out. Cheeks gets blocked. He's going to pop out. Our edges are going to keep going. Hunter Wohler is going to keep going because he gets cut. Right, cut. And they're able to drop out. Nice open field tackle by Nizer Forkering. And got some pressure, forcing Oregon to get rid of the ball quickly. Playing against a team that is faster than you want to get the ball out as quickly as possible because you can rally to the ball as quickly as possible. You're not allowing plays to build up down. Does that's where you can cause problems. So just enough pressure to make him get rid of that ball quickly. Make the open field tackle. It's 4th and 5, and I believe Oregon kicks a field goal here to go up 6-0. That's exactly what they. All right, so next series, this is after the Badgers kick the field goal. So it's 6-3, Oregon taking over at the 25-yard line. All right, so Oregon's coming out in a nub 2x2 look. Badgers are in there, again, that 3-down look, but it's 2-4 personnel. And not bad job tracking by the linebackers. Okay, Allegro gets a little deep because Kurt Neal is getting a little high and kind of getting taken over with the double team, which changes the track of Allegro. But we are able to stretch it out a little bit for a 6-yard gain. Not exactly great, but let's look at the line here real quick. Okay, so Barden has got to do a better job of not getting turned. He's actually got to fight against the steering wheel action here of his guard and counteract that so he can put his hip inside to beat the double team. But here he just allows himself to get turned, and that actually lets the double team succeed. Kind of the same thing with Neal because he gets so high. And yeah, they're just able to stretch it out. All right, so brings us to 2nd and 4. Okay, in a regular 2-4 look now. Oregon is now motioning down to a compressed 3-by-1, real tight look here. And they're just running downhill. Inside zone with the cutback. In cases like this, you need DBs who can get downhill and fill, which Rico does a pretty good job of when you realize it. Now he needs to do a way better job of tackling here. Here he's just diving for ankles. But let's look at the box. All right, so we've got bodies for bodies. And we get set here. And we'll just talk about the run fit a little bit. So, again, I am not in the meeting room. I don't know exactly how the Badgers teach their run fits. But if this was me teaching my run fits, all right, so we would be here. I would be tracking downhill here. Ball comes to me. To there, if ball goes away. With what we've got set up here, I would be here. Tracking here, ball's coming to me, tracking here, ball goes away. And then Hunter Wohler is going to be filling downhill here. We got our force player. And then by the movement off the stem, Hunter Wohler would be filling here. And we'd get our fill in there from Darrell Peterson. And then Rico is there over the top. So let's kind of see how they fit this. Here we go. Okay, so a little, for me, too much lateral movement here by the linebackers. We got a gap. Hit it. Ball's coming downhill. Hit it. We've got a gap. Come downhill. Hit it. Hunter Wooler does a pretty good job filling, but he doesn't do a very good job of block shedding here. It's actually a pretty weak, just throwing a shoulder, and the Oregon guy does a pretty good job of essentially trapping Hunter Wooler's arms. That's why I don't like coming in with a shoulder. You know, I like using hands because that's not going to allow him to hook my arm. So it is what it is. All right, so Oregon is moving the ball here. 1st and 10, 37-yard line. Okay, split flow, outside zone. Little motion from the tight end who's playing out of the box. Looks like they're in 12 personnel. All right, that's a pretty good fill there by Allegro. Looks like we have a cross blitz. I don't think Jake Chaney is hitting this aggressively. So Allegro has got to fit based off of what is left over. We've got an extra hat on the front side, so it's going to be his responsibility to come back, which he does, and sticks it right there. It's a pretty good job. D-line needs to do a better job holding their ground. Like, we're getting washed out. Let's go to the end zone look here. We're getting washed out a little bit too much here. Getting washed out a little bit too much here. So there is a lot of room for cutback. And luckily, Allegro, it does a really good job of staying home and understanding where he fits with this blitz that we're getting. We're getting the blitz here. And then if he's reading flow, he does need to come back and fill, which he does there. And then, Wooler's there. Barton does a pretty good job tracking down the line, at least keeping contained for the cutback. But it's a pretty good job by Allegro. For a young guy, he is really developing some pretty good fundamental football. All right. So, starting out at empty look again, this is just a coverage indicator for Oregon. A lot of movement. And nice break on the ball here by Forkreen. And really, when you play off like this and you're playing man, to break in front of the ball this quickly takes a really good athlete. And we play off like this because, we don't want to give up the ball over the top. But if you take good read steps and you read the release of the running back, you can actually, or the running back, the receiver, you can make it up. And that's what he does there. Inside, we're just going with 4-man protection, and you can kind of see the way they're playing this. So on the front side here, and Gabriel comes off this pretty quickly, so he's reading the alignment. And basically what he sees when Chaney doesn't really move out of the box, he does a little bit, but we're getting 4 over 4, and the Badgers are playing over the top, and then probably man here on the back side. So they're going to play flat, hook to curl, deep quarter, and we've got we got extra safety over the top, and we're probably man here based on where the eyes are. So there's not much doing over here because the Badgers defense have Oregon outflanked and then even in numbers. So even though there's space, there's a lot of space on the far side of the field, this is the play. And if Forkreen doesn't react quickly enough, this is a 7-yard gain, but we're able to knock it down. All right, so it gets us to 3rd and 10. All right, after those first 2 big run plays, this is a pretty good place for the Badgers to get to. All right, so this movement, I mean, I don't think it's really created by pressure. I think this is actually a design where we're going to break out and he wants to hit this whip. Yeah, so what Oregon's doing here, it's an interesting play design. So they're running a little whip here, and they're selling, seam, and then they're trying to break it over the top, and they're running verts, I believe, over here. Let's run it. And I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to bait the safety and the corner to come downhill so they can hit the corner over the top. Yeah, and they're just running cross, and then they're going to sit the receiver inside here, and then they're going to spike it when he breaks out. So yeah, this is not caused by pressure. We're going to show quick game. Okay, so slant, hard seam glance, slant, and then they're going to spike it here, and then the whip. But the Badgers don't bite. The safeties stay high. We got Zachman in the hole right here, and we just force Oregon to throw it underneath. And again, a really good job by Forkerine to get downhill and react. I mean, that is really good because he has to respect the down and distance and keep the ball in front of him. So really good job. So that leads to 4th and 6. And Oregon is going to come out and punt. So it's a good stop. All right, so next series. Again, Badgers don't do anything on offense. So it's still 6-3. About 5.5 minutes left. Oregon comes out in a 3-by-1 condensed look. Going to motion. All right, so they're running. This is probably more of an access throw or a like a package play based on, you can call it an RPO because it's all based on the reaction to this movement. So when we got motion across and Wohler rotates over, that's the indication for them that they think they've got the leverage to throw this screen, and they do. Okay, and what hurts this play more is and we'll go to the box here for this, is right here with Lowry. Now, unless this is what we call a scrape exchange, where they're trying to bait Gabriel into keeping it, where when these two guards pull, or the guard and the tackle pull, Lowry screams inside, and then Chaney becomes the force player to bait the handoff, or to bait the keep and get it there. I don't think it's that, because you see how Chaney, he doesn't really come downhill. He's reacting to the down blocks of the guards. So he recognizes screen. So I just think it's Lowry getting too deep into chasing the pulling tackle that sets this up. And Oregon just gets the big bodies out in front. And it doesn't take much to set up a quick screen like this and then reestablish numbers. And it was a good play there by Oregon. So 2nd and 3. Okay, Badgers still in 2-4 look. Changing up the D-line a little bit for this series. And immediate impact. Again, I'm not shocked that the defensive line plays better when we have the non-returners in there. What I mean is we don't have the upperclassmen who've been in the program for all these years. It's the transfer and the freshmen. They actually do a really good job standing up stout on this. Chaney does a pretty good job plugging his gap as well. Okay, this is turning out to be a pretty good combination of these two. So we get it. Great shed by Hills. We even get away with a little bit of a face mask there. I don't think they see it. They don't. But he's keeping that. I mean, how? They did not see the center grabbing him. But essentially, Hills is occupying this offensive lineman so he can't get up to Allegro. And then Chaney is right there to plug the split flow. And that a really nice job here by the freshman to slant and split the double team. That's a really nice play. All right, so 3rd and 1. Okay. And just as I'm praising the freshman on the previous play, he gets caught out of position. So Chaney's got to move him. He's not set, and he's able to get blown up in the double team. All right, so young guys making mistakes. Also not... Okay, so kind of an issue here. You know, get a little bit of slant. So Allegro is a little bit late recognizing where he fits. And, yeah. One play after I praise the two interior guys, we make mistakes. So I guess I shouldn't praise guys too much. But same guys out there, so we're in a 3-by-1 nub look. Okay. Being stouter inside, we need to stay low. And they're essentially, Oregon is essentially running here is wedge blocking. Okay, they're hat for hat, and we need these second level guys to be able to get downhill, and we need the first level guys to be able to control the line of scrimmage and control these blockers. So everyone for Oregon is basically blocking in. So we're creating double teams. We need to be able to squeeze. I think this is Lowry after the last rep where he got caught chasing too far inside, overcompensating. Because by this point, running back's got the ball. He's got to be screaming downhill. Allegro is there, but he needs to step into his tackle a little bit better. So that's just smash mouth football done in the spread offense. 2nd and 5. Oregon's in pistol now. They're going to motion. Badgers rotate their coverage. And they're just running GH lead. This time, now we slip those double teams. We slip those down blocks, and we gang tackle. That is a good rep for the entire defense. Really good job of run fits. All right, so we look here. So we got a slant. Hills does a really good job being violent with his upper body and just being disruptive. He doesn't shed anything, really. He doesn't really do much other than hold the line of scrimmage and create violence on the line of scrimmage and create disruption. Okay? Okay, we got Pius over here now. He does a really good job of absorbing the contact of the pull and then shedding. And he's the one who stretches it out. That's a really nice job. All right. So Chaney's looks like he's blitzing. Okay, so Allegro has to compensate because we have enough bodies over here. Then on the pull, recognizes the pull, chases it, and gets there. An excellent job all around. This is a great rep by the defense. One of the better run reps I've seen, and a sign that they're getting better within the system fundamentally. All right, 3rd and 7. Empty look from Oregon. Trying to hide the tight end. Okay, get a little lucky here. All right, so they're running just an out, deep out. It's not really wide sail. He's coming a little flatter. And what gets this is late pressure changes the trajectory of the throw. Because Fork Green gets caught a little bit high in his turn. And so he ends up flipping his hips late. And with just a little bit of pressure, this gets overthrown. And Oregon's throwing this because of alignment and because the safety is deep down the middle of the field. They're sending there's a vertical route here that is going to cause that free safety to have to stay down the middle a little bit longer. Zachman eventually comes over the top, but he's only really in position to help on the fade. We're pretty good out here. Rico's running step for step with the wide receiver. That's covered. And Oregon's receiver here, he tries to hit it and then do what we call step climb, where he's going to hit it and then come downhill, but the ball's thrown higher, and Badgers catch a break. 48-yard line, 4th and 7. Oregon is going to punt. And that's the end of that drive, which brings us to the end of the second quarter. I know it's hard for a lot of Badger fans to hear this, but the defense is getting better. The defense is falling into place within the system. So it's an encouraging sign that the defense is improving, at least to the point where we can compete with good teams and get to the point where we're at least beating the teams we're supposed to be beating and competing against the teams that on paper should be beating us. All right, so that's the second quarter. Back tomorrow with the third quarter. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.